Good morning, everyone. How is everybody feeling this morning? I hope everybody's feeling great. I know that you're all very excited about an amazing conference that we have set for today. My name is Radu Seuche. I'll be your host today. I'm the CEO of Executive Mastery, and until now, I've worked with more than 10,000 clients from more than 50 countries, making their best become their average. That's actually the mission that I have, and it's part of what we're doing today as well. But before we go any further, because I've introduced myself, I'm going to test to see if everybody can see and hear me, and you can use the chat, because we'll be using the chat for the rest of today. And I'm going to ask you to keep your microphones off. So for the chat, let us know who's here. I'm curious who you are, where you're coming from, what's your position. If you want to share your position, your company, I'm curious because I know that we have attendees from all around the world, and we still have people joining us from Austria. Hi, Fred. Nice to have you here. Let's see, who else is here with us today? From Bahrain. Hello from Bahrain as well. Ahlam is there. We have from India, Rajesh is from India with us. We have people from Dubai. So welcome, everyone. It's going to be a super international conference, and I know that everybody's thinking that maybe we're going to start a bit late, but not, because I said 90 minutes, and I have my German time management with me. And I know that every time I'm in front of a group, I get very curious. Why are you here? Because if you wouldn't have a good enough reason to be here, you'd probably be somewhere else, and you'd find a lot of excuses or reasons, let's not call them excuses this morning, for not being here. But you're here. So I'm curious about that. If there's one thing that you could gain out of this conference, what would it be? What would you need to get out of this conference so that you can honestly say that this was the best conference that you've ever attended? And I'm curious to see and to read a couple of your reasons for being here, for choosing to be here with us. Because I know that maybe some of you are struggling, some of you maybe are a bit lost, some of you are looking for solutions, and some of you are already thriving, and you just want to take your business to the next level. So what are your reasons? Share them with us, because they're going to be extremely useful for all of our speakers today. So to make sure that we provide the value that we promised, because that was the big idea behind Executive Mastery Talks. I said we need to have a conference in which we don't sell anything. We just want to provide value and show solutions to the problems that people are facing wherever you are. And I know that we have almost 100 participants that are registered. I know that some of you are waiting for the recordings because of time limitations, because of time zone differences. You're not able to attend live. That's great, because you're going to get the recordings after the conference ends. And I know that also some of you, maybe you're not aware of it yet. The best way to make use of such a conference is to have a clear purpose, to know why you're here, so that you can focus and ask the questions that you need to ask. As the format, we have 9 speakers, 9 minutes for each of the speakers, and I will ask you to ask your questions in the chat. If we have time, we'll be able to answer a couple of questions from the speakers. If not, I'm launching a challenge to all the speakers that we have here today to take one-on-one meetings with everyone that has a question that we don't manage to answer today, to set a meeting with them and offer them the answers that they need. If that's okay, give me a thumbs up so that I know that I'm promising. Cool, thank you very much. Because I think that's something that's very important. And my colleague Eddie, who is in the back office somewhere, is going to take your details and take forward setting up all the meetings that we need to have for that. Also, we have Hadi in the back office. If you have any technical issues, please let us know, so he can take care of that. So getting into the topic of today, I got 9 minutes as a speaker, so I'm doing both the intro and the solution. But I decided there I want to be a bit more generous. So for me, the Executive Mastery Talks is the first solution that I'm offering. This is something that I would like to have every month, a session in which we bring together experts from all around the world, from different industries, that can really provide value and concrete solutions to challenges that you might have as a manager nowadays. COVID-19, lockdowns, working from home, laying off staff, diminishing or stopping operations, panic, fear, uncertainty. Now more than ever, there is a focus on, or a temptation to focus on the present situation, of complaining, of saying that things are never going to go back to normal, that they're not right, that they're not going to be fixed, what are we going to do, and so on. There's also a big temptation for many of us to focus on right now rather than the future. I remember the first time when I got on a Segway. I don't know if you know what a Segway is. It's a thing with two wheels and a small plate that you sit on. And I said, I'm a risk taker, so I can get on that. I'll learn very quickly how to do it. And I found out really quickly that it's not that easy to keep balance on it. So my friend who I was with shared something very interesting to me and said, if you want to keep balance on a Segway, the only way to do that is to look forward. You need to look towards your destination, and the Segway will take you there. If you focus on your feet, so if you look down, you lose balance. And I thought that it's a very interesting lesson for business and for top managers around the world that are struggling now to survive. Focusing and asking yourself, where is your actual focus? Is it towards the future, towards where you want to be, or is it towards where you are right now? And I was thinking, what would be the best solution to present today, and do a bit of practical exercises in the time that we have left. Some 10, 12 years ago, during the first financial crisis that I experienced, I had the bank CEO that came to me and said, I need a bit of direction. What can you do? And that's when I built, for the first time, the Business Compass. The Business Compass is a tool that evolved, of course, from the first 12 years. And it had three components from the very beginning: the rules for success, the achievable outcomes, and a universal alignment model. And I want to talk very briefly about the rules for success, because we hear about a lot of rules. Everybody writes now, we can read blogs, we can watch clips, everybody has the key to success. And I said, actually, how would it be if we would have a way to generate our own rules for success? Where do they come from? Well, the exercise is very simple. If you make a list of all the things that you've achieved in a certain field and all the things that you haven't achieved yet, not to say that you failed at them, and you compare and contrast, you will notice that for the ones that you've achieved, you behaved differently than for the ones that you didn't achieve. So you might actually discover that you have a couple of strategies for success yourself. And it's an exercise that I invite you to do. Just take a piece of paper, divide it into two. In the first column, write the things that you've achieved already. In the second one, on the right side, the things that you haven't achieved yet. And then compare and contrast. And after you have a list of 10, 15 things on each side, you can just fill in the sentence, I'm successful when, and find out what are your personal rules for success. And I'm using this time to introduce to you a couple of the lessons that I got from 5 CEOs over these 12 years, the solutions or the behaviors that were the most relevant. And I think they will be setting up the tone quite right for the session of today. So the first one was, I'm successful when I show up and I'm there, both mentally and physically. And I know we hear a lot about it, but somehow the consistency of showing up when we make a promise and then delivering that promise, it tends to be quite useful for achieving success. The second one that came from a pharma CEO said, the team will do what I do, not what I say. So I'm always successful when I consistently demonstrate the behaviors that I want from my team. The third one, I don't think I need to explain this one. The third one is, I'm successful when I have a strong feedback mechanism. Not that I just have it so I get feedback from people, from the clients, from the market, but also when I adapt as I go, depending on the feedback that I'm getting. So I'm flexible on my approach, although my focus and my outcomes are clear. Talking about outcomes, the fourth one was, I know what I want and I go for it. I'm successful when I know what I want and I go for it 100%. The moment when I don't go for it 100%, I'm actually sabotaging myself. everything that's less than 100% support towards myself and my team is sabotage. And the fifth one, which is consistent in all of the top managers that I've spoken with, I'm successful when I ask for help when I cannot do it on my own. What happens when you apply these, when you discover these rules for success? If you don't do them, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. When you start applying these rules for success, you identify them for yourself and you start applying them, you realize that actually you can have consistency in achieving results. Because I know that all of us are able to achieve outcomes. We all set an outcome and we've achieved it. And we've all set outcomes and we didn't achieve them. So what's the difference that makes the difference? The way we behave. We can all achieve outcomes. The question is, how do we do it consistently? So with that in mind, I want to invite our second speaker, I'm considering myself not one, our second speaker for today, Ahlam, who's coming from Bahrain, who will talk to us about consistency and making the seemingly impossible possible with a team, and then taking it with other teams and other teams across the Arab world. But I'm going to let her tell us more about that. So Ahlam, welcome.
Thank you, Radu. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Okay, so imagine for a second that you received a call from a senior executive 2 weeks before your joining date, informing you that no one in the team showed up. That single-handedly can be the most haunting call to receive while you are full of excitement and anticipation after landing a competitive new role in an international bank to head a critical corporate services department in Bahrain. As it may be obvious, I was at the receiving end of that call, which was in November 2014. The state I was in prior to that call was I was reading leadership books such as You're in Charge Now, What? I was preparing my first 100 days plan. Up until that call, through everything off balance, and more drastic measures had to be adopted. Now let's break the whole experience into day 1 and day 90 and beyond. Let's talk about day 1. Numbers and KPIs. I had a team of 5. 2 of them were seniors, 2 juniors, and 1 trainee. The department's KPI was ranked low compared to 35 countries. It was in the bottom 30s. The call abandon rate was on an alarming 40%, where the global standard was said to be 2%. The turnaround time of inquiries and complaints handling was 50 to 60%, and the target was 80%. It seemed like a unit lacking unity, with high absenteeism rate, which led to no one showing up on that day, and corporate client calls were completely blocked, in addition to other KPIs and other challenges. So that's day 1. Let's talk about day 90 and beyond. Within the second month on abandon rate, we reached not only a single digit, we had 0% abandoned rate in one iconic day. I still vividly remember the screenshot from the matrix system, which was globally circulated by the global head. Less than 6 months in the role, I was on a plane and being asked to transform the team in Oman. Within the same year, not only me, but including my own team, we were the focal point in the region to aid our peer units in Qatar, Iraq, Jordan, and Oman. Within a year, we had no failed audits, no critical findings in peer reviews, and I was appointed to lead the Operational Risk Committee in the Middle East and North Africa for corporate services. So day 1, day 90 and beyond. How did I transform it from day 1 to that glorious day 90? The vision for me was to have a systematic synergy within the team, the processes, the stakeholders, and the shareholders, to set the team on an autopilot with minimal intervention by myself, which would allow me to lead for a bigger agenda and not bury my head on the day-to-day challenges and services. So how did I do it? Let's start with the first part, which was the discovery. The first pillar of the discovery for me was that the most significant and fundamental element to be while on discovery mode is to be completely neutral. I was not attached to anything during that phase, not the team, not the KPIs, not the challenges, not even the successes. I needed to be completely open to everything and anything. So how did that come about? Number one, I was studying the processes, the procedures, and the standards. Studying, literally, I had all my stationery, my pens, my papers, I was studying them. Second, which is more crucial, I had a one-on-one meeting with my team members. I only asked powerful questions and listened. No judgment, no opinion, no justification. And then I needed to go beyond the team. I went to the stakeholders and the shareholders. And so I started having one-on-one meeting and discovery meetings with unit heads, regional, global, and corporate clients also. If one thing engineering taught me is that the smaller wiring between the units were more significant than the apparent bigger one, because it impacts the quality and the flow of any device. Hence, I had to meet with those who deal with the team directly, not only their managers. So I met the tellers, assistant relationship managers, operational clerks, compliance officers, and so on. And the most fundamental question, which I was asking was, what do you need from us to make your job better? So instead of having a complaint meetings, I was having a meeting of what can it be better and how. Needless to say, everyone knew the answer, and usually people do, but seldom act on it. After the discovery part, the second part was the setup and the plan. Prior to putting a full-fledged plan, I needed a deeper understanding of who and how I needed to be, not only to change, but to transform the situation. Having sounding boards and trusted leadership coaching aided me on that quest. The plan was formulated according to all what has been discovered and had synergy approach to it. The third pillar was the hire and the fire. No one can or should understand the anatomy of the team like the one who is leading it. And this is what I needed to make sure that I have it. So the hire and the fire does not only mean hiring and firing people completely. However, it can also mean hiring talents and firing habits within people in the team, which aimed to streamline what needs to be done to meet business objective. For the team, I broke down the complete list of tasks, clouding them randomly on a whiteboard, and I asked the team which ones they would not only pick, but own. That allowed capital investment on their talents, and it also shattered the head-to-head rivalry between the two seniors. The fourth part after the hire and the fire was the process re-engineering and gap analysis, which I'm really excited on doing, which was the automation of the top 10 tasks, inquiry reduction, manual monthly reporting. We had 7 reports which were done in 3 days from the same raw data, which magically was able to be done within less than an hour in 1 day. The last part of the whole transformation was the sign-off. For each process, there had to be an alignment. I couldn't do that on my own. There had to be an alignment with the entire team to vote on the best way forward. Team rotation. We used to have team daily huddles. We usually call it huggles, where they were casual conversations, sharing best practices and sharing challenges collectively so everyone can brainstorm ideas. I continued the ongoing one-on-one meeting and discussions. Ownership, by partaking their ideas and promoting their names. When I go to any management team meeting, I don't say that this is my idea, this is my team's idea. So that filled them with a boost. Last but not least, I had the sign off of all stakeholders because I needed to make sure that the job is well done business-wise. So the operational risk, the relationship management, the operations, and the branches. And that set the team on an autopilot. And instead of me micromanaging every task and burying my head down, they were empowered and delegated to handle elevated tasks. Subsequently, it marked Bahrain team as the leading in the region. Crucial point to voice out, the team did not lack any talent, nor was it in any way adequate. It had all the potential, but not the synergy. In conclusion, that call ventured me into finding my business calling, which is enabling leaders to evoke transformation within their teams, of which I am confident of. Because coming from corporate business and being passionate about coaching, I know that only business understands business. And this is what I know deliver for teams across the world. And that was the successful journey of what seemed to be a career fatal call. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ahlam, for a very inspiring story. I can only imagine how it feels like to get that call and hear that no one showed up for work. And that's going to be the team that you're going to manage. So great for that. And I'm sure that if we have any questions, then you will be happy to have a one-to-one discussion with all of our participants. Yeah. And because I believe in living a holistic life, and because I believe that mens sana and corpore sano, and our health is also important. And for managers, sometimes top managers sometimes forget that they need to care about their health as well. I'm very happy to have with us Ramy, who is a certified corporate wellness coach and a personal trainer, who is focusing on helping top managers live a healthier life so that they're more fulfilled and they can actually have more energy to solve problems at work. So welcome, Ramy.
Thank you, Radu, and happy to be here with you all. Happy Friday. The health topic, it's in our talk, especially I see a lot of people here now, 10 years. And I've been working a lot with entrepreneur, business owner, executives, and top management. So those people tend to work harder than anybody else. They tend to be very stressful. They have too much going on. So that was a bit of a challenge to work with them and ask them their goals and how to achieve it. So we could speak the same language and use words like goals, plan, purpose, goal, results. So those are the same words we use usually in entrepreneurial life. To be honest, it's the health and fitness and wellness, it's beyond losing weight and all of that, it marketed in that way. Because unfortunately, fitness is how do you look, right? Which is part, but this is how it promoted. I was part of it. I was being interviewed in the TV many times in the big channels, and they were asking how to lose weight in that short time. And it's way more than that, because it's a lifestyle. Lifestyle is mean, as you go to your work, well, you can't escape from your work unless you have a big reason. Same with exercise, sleeping, stress management, and diet. Let's not say diet, eating well. So I would say the hardest part is the healthy development habit, because we all know that we need to exercise. We all know that we need to eating healthy, sleeping well, de-stress, and all of that. But not all the common sense or common practice, unfortunately. So if you know something and you didn't know it, you don't know it. So it's always we concern about how to keep that as a part of your lifestyle. And I believe you all guys working in a corporate or you have a stressful work. So let's jump in it in the component of the exercise, sleeping, and eating healthy way in a way that I will try to keep it as simple as I can. And because it's very complicated, that we have seen a lot of information about what should you eat, what kind of diet you have to follow, which is wrong because we customize, we have different lifestyle, we have many backgrounds, and we need to separate it. So I can't tell you the best diet is keto diet, which is promoted very well, or fasting, or whatever. So we're always looking for your lifestyle. What do you start? How you start your day? What kind of stress that you have, and from there we are trying to address this avatar for you. So I believe, like all of you, ladies and gentlemen here, they having a lot going on, especially during this year. It's crazy for everyone, not only you. So exercise, let's say exercise, you need to move. Our bodies has been designed to move, and we have two kind of this movement. We have the daily physical activities, walking, sitting, moving around, okay? And we have the proper exercise. And exercise that should be part of your daily routine. So you're not doing that as kind of, it's a luxury. Actually, personal training is luxury because it's expensive. But your exercise, it should be that kind of your lifestyle. And when I'm saying exercise, I'm not talking about cardio, I'm talking about resistance training, which is lifting weight. And this is hard part, I know, because most of the people, they don't know how to do it, but it's the skills that anybody can learn how to exercise. And now it's very available everywhere. You can do it online, you can find it YouTube, you can hire a personal trainer, you just have to do it. So it's essential that you exercise, and not cardio. I'm not against cardio, but exercise is tend to give you this energy that we're all looking for. And by energy, I'm talking about you are at work, you are in deals, you are in a meeting like that now, so you need to have energy. And this energy comes from two things, actually three: exercise, eating healthy, and mindset. So yeah, that's kind of exercise. And I also can tell you what kind of program. It's customized, it's individual. Second part is eating healthy. And eating healthy, I'm not talking about diet, because it should not be weight loss. Well, yes, looking good and in shape, it's something good for yourself and for others, and it's enhancing your confidence, self-confidence, but it's way more than that. We say in your gut is your second brain. And there is a lot of research that's showing that the junky food and unhealthy food, it's decreasing your intelligence. And that's why you see a lot of people, they are in a brain fog. And I've seen that a lot. And to be honest, they're very successful people. But when you talk to them, they have this kind of, just they're not with you. And big part of it, it's come from eating. And we treating ourselves really bad with that kind of topic, with eating, because you have infinity of a lot of food in the market, and you don't know what's right, what's wrong. And that thing that is, you have to know what you should eat. And you can reach out for dietitian, you can reach out for a coach, you can reach out for someone, you can go for Dr. Google, it will help you a little bit, but it's way more than that. It's your life. So it's you have to try a lot of things to go for that point. Also, there is a big part which is a mindset, and this is I've been working recently a lot with my clients, and when we go for seminars or talk like that, we have to address the mindset. Sorry, there's some water. So mindset is everything. If you have the idea of why you're doing that, the how will come after that. It's why you exercise, why you have to take care of yourself, and the how will come. And I'm sure that we have some speakers here. I've seen it. They have the talk on that kind of topic. But the mindset, guys, it's 80%, I would say, for all the process. And we need to have this joy in our life by address a healthy lifestyle. Not sure if I'm in the time now, Radu. So I think I am. I would be more than happy to help anyone here. It's been great to be with you guys. I'm gonna leave my my contact here, or if you want to be, I will leave it in the chat. If you are in LinkedIn or in Snapchat or Facebook or Instagram, I will be happy to be with you. So happy Friday.
Thank you very much, Ramy. I'm taking I'm restating that Eddie is going to help everyone and get the contacts and put you in contact with everyone to have the one-to-one sessions. I think everyone here can benefit from learning how to have a bit of a healthier lifestyle. And I'm taking one big idea, which was a big surprise for me because I had my turning point as well with it, with getting more energy from exercising more, which people think, okay, if I'm going to exercise and I'm too tired to do it. And actually, it's one of the greatest ways to get energy. So thank you very much for that. And because we're talking about mindset and also innovation, imagination today, our next speaker, Rajiv, is coming from India, and he brings a unique and in-depth insight into strategic, organizational, and leadership dimensions of disruption. So maybe we have a healthy disruption in health, and you took some decisions related to that. So let's see how we apply that to business. Hi, Rajiv. See, is Rajiv with us?
It show up.
Yes. No. Okay.
Team there, Eravon Consulting is Rajiv.
Yes.
Yeah.
If not, until maybe he has some connection issues, which can happen in a conference like this. And because we are extremely flexible with this, I'm very happy to have Varun here who can help me with that. Varun has been my colleague since and friend since we've met almost a year ago, I think. And he is the CEO of Consolidon, and also running. He had an interesting project idea that I decided to join, which was about superheroes. It's a CSR initiative in which we're helping small and medium enterprises deal with the crisis that we have. So that started with focusing a lot on SMEs, and it's evolving into helping companies as well, because I think nowadays we might all need a superhero. So I'll ask Varun to tell us a bit about how can we actually get a superhero, and what do the superheroes do? How do they fit in the corporate background?
Thank you so much, Radu, and thank you everyone for joining this conference. Let me start with a quick background of what I do, and then I'll talk about why we started the Superheroes project. So in Consolidon, we are an ecosystem of small consulting firms. So we have more than 300 consulting firms that join our ecosystem to win projects with their end clients. Very recently, we partnered with the Sharjah government to set up a special economic zone for these professional services firms, so lawyers, coaches, consultants, trainers, etc. And we essentially help them with forming their business, incubating their business, and accelerating their growth. Okay. In Consolidon and in the special economic zone that I work with, I know a lot of, between the two businesses, I know a lot of entrepreneurs. I know perhaps more than 400 or 500 entrepreneurs that, I've spoken with a few times over the last few years and helped in some capacity. My conversations at the start of the year were all, 2020 is going to be the year that we're going to change everything, right? This is going to be the year that we're going to achieve, great success in our organization. We're going to turn around the way we work. And this is going to be the year for us, right? It was supposed to be a great year. It was the turn of the decade. It was natural to be excited, like we are at the start of every year. This year was supposed to be special. Unfortunately, and we've talked about this a little bit before, with the pandemic, and then we had a lockdown. I think a pandemic was scary, right? From a health perspective. The lockdown from a business perspective was even scarier. Nobody had faced a situation like this before. Diseases we've all somehow dealt with in our family, personally, etc. Never had we dealt with a situation where we were asked not to move out of our house for a long period of time, not to meet people who we would have had to meet to do our business, right? And then, of course, led to the downturn, and everybody's plans changed. Everybody went on survival mode. What we decided to do to help these entrepreneurs, to help these small businesses stay on track, is put together a group of volunteers who we call superheroes. Okay. So what we decided to do was reach out to business leaders from all walks of life. They might be the CFO of an organization, or a CEO, or a chief operations officer. Each of them bring their superpowers to help micro businesses and entrepreneurs get through these difficult times. Okay. So we started this project in March with the aim of reaching out to entrepreneurs in October to help them with a few things, 3 things mostly, right? So the 3 things that are superheroes. So we have about 700 superheroes, again, from all walks of life, who've registered on our platform, and they help entrepreneurs and micro businesses with 3 main things, right? So if you're a micro business and entrepreneur, there are 3 main things that we can support you with. One is advice, right? Radu was talking briefly when in his talk about reaching out to get help, right? Reaching out to get help when you don't understand something in your business. So, for example, let's say you do not know how to manage your finances well. It's important for you to reach out to someone and seek help to manage your finances. Let's say you're not good at managing a remote team. Say you're not good at taking your business digital. Okay, what you can do is come to our platform, and what we would do is we would do a discovery call with you, understand your challenges, and then connect you with someone. If you have trouble with managing finances, we'll connect you to someone who's been a CFO for the last 20 years, for example, and they will give you advice on how to manage your finances better. They would give you, let's say you're running a brick and mortar business and you're not 100% sure how to take that digital. We'll connect you with someone who's been in digital for a long period of time, and they would help you on how to take your business digital, right? So that's the first thing. We can give you advice across a spectrum of challenges that small businesses and entrepreneurs face. Okay. But as you all know, it's very easy to give advice. It's much more difficult to take and implement advice, right? So the second thing that we ask our superheroes to do on this platform is not only give advice, but also help the entrepreneur or the micro business action that advice. So the advice, for example, let's say you manage currently your customers on a spreadsheet, right? You manage all your customer contacts on a spreadsheet. A superhero would tell you, for example, you need to get yourself a CRM, and there are lots of free CRMs available, which you can utilize. And then they will not only give you that advice, but they will help you perhaps select a CRM and also implement that CRM if that's something that you cannot do by yourself, right? So one is advice, second is help action that advice, and the third thing our superheroes will help you with is give you access to their network, right? So what they would do is connect you with 3 or 4 people in their network who could become customers for you in the future. They would connect you with 3 or 4 people in your network who could potentially be partners and help you grow your business, right? They would connect you with 3 or 4 people in their network who could potentially be suppliers and keep your operational costs low, right? So 3 things on our platform: advice, action, and access. So that's broadly what we're setting up. This month, we're going to start reaching out to entrepreneurs in a big way. We're going to try to tell them, that they're not alone in these difficult times. There are superheroes who can come in, bring their unique superpowers to help them deal with these difficult times. We're going to be making connections between entrepreneurs and superheroes who can help them. You can also participate as a superhero, right? So each of you bring your unique superpowers, okay, that you can bring to this platform, and you can get some support on this platform and support others on this platform through your unique expertise and superpowers. So that's broadly the Superheroes Project. It's on www.superheroesproject.com, and you can come in and register either as a superhero or as an entrepreneur who needs support. In either case, we would do a discovery call with you. If you're a superhero, we will understand your superpowers and help you establish your superpowers on the platform. If you're an entrepreneur, we'll do a discovery call, understand your challenges, and connect you with superheroes who will help you through these difficult times. One last thing, okay, is that while all our superheroes are joining this platform with a good heart, they're joining with the intention of helping and supporting micro businesses. What we're not asking them to do is provide their services for free on our platform. And the reason for that is when you ask someone to take something for you for free, they might not actually value it. They might not appreciate and understand and appreciate its value, right? Humans don't appreciate free. It's just human nature. So what we're asking our superheroes to do is put a price, put a value to the service that they're providing. If they're going to be helping an entrepreneur for 6 hours in a month, put a price to it, let's say $1,000. But then, being a superhero, what you say is, pay me what you can, when you can afford it. Okay. So we have standard discount codes for entrepreneurs on our platform: 10%, 25%, 50, 75, and 99%. And an entrepreneur who's going through a very financially difficult situation can easily just take a 99% discount code and get that same service for 6 hours of support for just $10 a month for the next 3 months or the next 6 months. When they start getting past this financially stressful situation, they can perhaps move to a 50% discount or a 75% discount. The superhero could become like a board member or a long-time advisor on the platform. So that's the Superheroes project. We welcome all of you to reach out, take support from this platform, support others on this platform, because we all need support to get through these difficult times. So that's about it from me. Radu, back to you.
Thank you very much, Varun. I'm very happy that you were ready to jump in and help us. As I was telling you, if you remember, one of the rules of success was showing up. Unfortunately, today we have 8 speakers instead of 9, and this is the reason why we're having a bit of a change in the program, and that's fine because we're extremely flexible. And in the end, the ones that show up are the ones that matter. So from helping others and giving something back and inviting you to become superheroes, let's talk about disruption. Rajiv is with us. Hello, Rajiv.
Hello. Hello, Radu.
Welcome.
Pleasure.
The floor is yours.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that sharing of screen is normal.
If you want, yes.
Yes, I do. I would like that. So I've started.
It's your 9 minutes, Rajiv. It's your 9 minutes. You use them as you can to provide as much value as you can.
So I hope the screen is visible, friends.
Yes.
To us all.
Yes.
Yeah, because since in Zoom you have to make somebody a host these days, I just wanted to double check that.
Yes, we see the screen.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, I couldn't help think about what Varun just finished talking about, which is the superheroes idea. It's phenomenal to think that we have quite a few of them. And over these years, we've done a huge amount of work in innovation, and the only thing that we found is, that there is a big myth in the world of innovation, which is that you have to hire superheroes. In fact, we found the existing people can become superheroes, provided you are able to ignite them effectively. So really, I am hoping some of these superheroes will do exactly that, Varun, and help these entrepreneurs find the superhero in them. That's what Radu started with in any case, in the very first, when he was talking about decoding your success. So I'm going to pick up the ball in a slightly different way, but on the same theme, which is the challenge facing us all. So Erewhon, that is the firm I represent, and that's pretty much been my mission for these many years. But for some of you, in case you are wondering about the word Erewhon, that in itself portrays our mission. I think some of you have decoded it by now, because when you read it backwards, you'll see it reads nowhere. And interestingly, when you split it up, it becomes now here. When we were setting out on this mission more than 28 years ago, in one word, it spelled out our mission, which is from nowhere to now here, impossible to possible, hopelessness to hope. I mean, that's the mission of innovation, right? And that's essentially our mission, is to work with organizations, leaders, to find transformative solutions and to refuse to believe that it can't be done, basically. Over these years, we've evolved an approach which is called orbit shifting innovation. I'm just sharing this with you because this will be the core of what I share, which is all about innovation-led transformation. So how does one apply it to a change which has happened to us, or to lead a change even? And this has been experimented with across industries and across the world. So I'm just going to take you very quickly into a snapshot of it. By the way, I couldn't help but start with it a little differently. So when you look at a map like this, what's your first reaction? Guys, for first reaction?
Upside down?
Yeah, surely. I mean, if it's very interesting. If you were to give people a map like this on a piece of paper, their instinctive reaction would be to turn it around. Think about it. Maps were designed to be information. But when you've seen a map in one way for a long time, it becomes a mindset. There's only one way of looking at the map. Interestingly, if you're standing on the South Pole, it might look something like this. Somebody just happened to draw it the other way. What you are seeing here is an example of a mental model, but really what happens in an industry sometimes is this. In fact, not sometimes, but oftentimes. After some time, the whole industry begins to look like this. In the entire industry, everybody is starts to think alike, believe me. Products look the same, processes look the same, business models look the same. After some time, the same guys are changing jobs within the industry, even people look the same. There is something called how many years of experience do you have in this industry? So, but while this happens at an industry level, what it does is even a reaction to change is similar. So if you notice, when change, the biggest disruption happens when there is a regulation, change in regulatory, or an environmental adversity of the kind that we are experiencing now. But what we've experienced is over these years that we are even conditioned in how to respond to change. And the typical boundaries you notice are, what do most people do? When confronted with change, stick to the tried and tested. Become cautious. Do more of the same. Don't do anything different. It'll be a problem. You know, this is classically what happens. And our role in these years, at least the way we've designed it and the way we work at it, is how do you get people to break through these boundaries, to see the opportunity in the change, and to leverage change, not merely cope with it. So what do we exactly end up doing? What does change do? It confronts us with a new problem, which we've never experienced earlier. The trouble is, we deal with a new problem in the old way, with the old box. And that leads to these, cautious, play it safe, survival kind of strategies only. To give you an example, a very interesting one of a regulation change which happened in the financial services in India. You know, in the insurance industry, it went through a shock a few years ago when the regulator outlawed what were the ULIPs, are called the unit-linked insurance plans. Now, they were actually mutual funds masquerading as insurance. So, and they were an easy sell. And 70% of the growth of the entire industry was coming from that band of products. So the regulator came down heavily on it, and it brought down. You can imagine the industry was in a shell shock. A product which is creating 70% of the growth is suddenly no longer accessible. So you can imagine, in a scenario like this, what is the old box response? Wait it out. You know, things will come back to normal. Just hold on, cut costs, just make sure people don't leave, our salespeople remain intact. We happen to be doing some, get engaged with Max New York Life at this point in time, an insurance firm. And you notice that the boundary that got evolved and questioned was that why are we playing with in such a defensive mindset? It's all about protecting turf. You know, in sporting language, attack is the best mode of defense. So in this case, what could we do to convert this into an opportunity? And think about it. When everybody is playing safe, the market is actually a sitting duck. Nobody's even reacting or will react. What if we convert it into an opportunity, and they actually managed to convert it into an opportunity, and over the next 2 years in a degrowing market, they doubled their market share. But the core of the strategy really was that there is a trust deficit in the market. You notice when you when you change the box through which you are seeing, you start to see opportunity. And in this case, the opportunity was the trust deficit in the market, and how do we make our teams and agents the gold standard of trust? And so you play it on the front foot. What could be possible? So really, over these years, we've evolved that. Just to give you a very quick sampling of what's possible. But the process which has evolved over these years is to any organization or team or leader wanting to leverage change, the starting point needs to be to break through these boundaries. Now, these could be internal cultural boundaries or external business boundaries. And then start to look for new insight with a new lens. And can I urge you to think? You notice that we are all talking about thinking out of the box all the time. I'm sure you've heard that, said that to other people, urged other people to do it. The problem really is, how does one find the box? You know, which box? But the challenge is not thinking out of a box, it's finding the box in the first place. To give you, the first example was from a health service, from financial services. Let's talk about another one, a different kind of an adversity which an FMCG firm was confronted with. You know, they are into personal care products, soap, shampoos, etc. The challenge around the world, the adversity that they were seeing was an increasing stress on water and on water availability, water supplies. That is becoming a stress issue. And the question was that all our products take up a lot of water in usage, in consumption. That sooner or later, this is going to become a problem. The good part was they hadn't waited for it to become a problem, but they were reacting fast enough. But the way they had framed the question was, so, this is a problem. So what do we need to do? As we were having a conversation with this global brand director, he said, we need to reduce impact on water. So how much? Well, 30-20% would be good if we can bring it down by 20-30%. So you notice, I'm urging you to think that this is perhaps the old way of defining the problem. That we are looking at the problem, but through the old lens. Reduce water. The boundary that emerged was when we started to look, where is the boundary? That all products are water dependent is where it is starting. That's the box. And the finding of the box, it led to breaking that box. So what about the next range without any dependence on water, without water? The question was not so much the problem of reducing water, but the next range was an opportunity question. And believe me, over the next 3 months, this team went through a complete resurgence in their thought process. It led to, you can imagine, the insights now changed completely. It was more about the next array of personal care without any dependence on water. And the 3 markets, India, China, US, it was fascinating how many insights came through, which led to completely new portfolio. So the boundary was not so much reducing with, you can imagine, right? A team working on reducing impact on water, what would they have done? Pre-shampoo, during shampoo, post-shampoo, 5%, 2%, 7% job done. The classical incremental way of thinking. Whereas this is about how do you react to change, create a new array completely. It just changes the way we engage with it. So you notice in this case, the final example is from healthcare. Here is a very different kind of a problem or a change that they were confronted with, which I'm sure some of you have experienced, but it had grown massively over the last 2-3 years, which was commoditization. You know, they had premium products, they would command a premium. Now that wasn't happening, because also in the market, they are supplying to hospitals, by the way. So while they supply to hospitals, there are a new array of hospitals, smaller hospitals, which has come up. Home health care is picking up, and immense pressure on cost. So nobody is prepared to pay a premium. So the classical way of here, the mental model boundary that got challenged that got identified was, you know, the way we think of new initiatives, new products is all technology forward. So you know what had they done? When you think tech, you think IOTA, internet operated, digital and everything else, and they had made an electronic stethoscope. Now that got a lukewarm response, incidentally, because while it was nice, but it could wait till day after tomorrow. The real challenge were somewhere else, and breaking through this boundary. The question was, how do we become how do we create an impact on the cost? Actually, help the customers reduce cost or add revenue. What could we do completely differently? But they didn't have an answer to this question. These were new questions. And as we went into 40 hospitals, talking to surgeons, all kind, what emerged was a completely new opportunity. You know, all the hospitals were experiencing huge nurse attrition. You can imagine, what could this multinational be doing about nurse attrition? The first thought was nothing. But as we went into a little further, you know, the challenge was how do they deal with nurse attrition by adding more and more nurses? So they are trying their best to train nurses faster. But it's hit the wall of diminishing returns. The question came, well, what about products which will simplify the nurse's job such that a junior nurse can do the job of a senior nurse? Now that led to one very interesting example breakthrough was the vein detector. So you notice when you are doing a blood test, it takes a very senior nurse to find the right vein quickly. Sometimes you may have had the wrong vein punched very painfully. So the vein detector with which a new nurse can do the job of an experienced nurse. The fascinating thing was technology for this was available all along. What had been missing was the insight. This led to an array of 4 or 5 products, which there was hungry market waiting out there. But the starting point was to deal with change differently and say, no, okay, now, you know, you have to cut costs. And it was not about cutting costs. It was about finding a new space completely, market creation. So what I've shared with you is the starting point is of when you want to leverage change is to first introspect and identify where are the boundaries, cultural or business boundaries. Where are the boxes, and then deliberately breaking those boxes opens up new lenses and new opportunities inevitably. I mean, believe me, the more people say this market is saturated, nothing can happen, the more is possible. In fact, by now, everybody is, as we very often say, there's nothing called a saturated market or a problem, it's just saturated mindsets. And believe me, it becomes a pleasure when you start dealing with it like that. The change stops being a threat, it starts becoming the biggest opportunity. So I've given you a very quick snapshot. I hope I managed to stick somewhere near my time, Radu.
Somewhere.
Okay. So I leave it to all of you. Some questions now or later. You want to confront me or question me or contribute, please do.
Eddie is ready. Thank you very much, Rajiv. Eddie is ready to take all the questions and book some one-to-one meetings for you, because I think you've opened up some interesting discussions about finding the boxes and then how the actual shift happens for disruption to happen. And I'm also appreciating your view on seeing there is no such thing as a saturated market. Actually, that's the place where the biggest disruptions can happen, when we might have a feeling that the market is oversaturated. So thank you very much for that. And from disruption, we had physical health. I think it's time to talk a bit about mental health as well. And we have Ramy with us today, who is a certified life coach, and she specializes in mental health, also working with cancer champions. And today she's going to talk to us about what happens with motivation, and how do we create motivation when revenues are not met and when things are not going quite well from a mental health perspective. So welcome, Ramy.
Thank you, Radu. Thank you for organizing this event, and thank you everyone for taking this time of your weekend to learn something that is valuable and to help you in your own life and business. Okay, so before I start, please go to the chat box. I have two simple questions. If you want to make it private to me, that's fine. So you select to Ramy, or you can make it just for everyone. How many of you is managing who is managing a team? Give me a thumbs up, or just say me. Okay, 1, 2.
Okay, 3, 4. Yes, the thumbs ups are going. So there is a special button for thumbs up that you can use. Super.
All right. So the other question, do you face any challenges motivating your team, especially in this time? Let's say we're talking about COVID time, when things are perceived as slowing down. I'm saying perceived. I'm going to come to that later on. So how many of you is having challenges dealing with your team? Also write me or just thumbs up. Yes, most are skeptical, definitely. Okay. All right. So how would you like to learn to influence anyone, whether in your house or in your work or your friends, to get them to do whatever you want? How would you like to do that? What is the lack? What is the what is the cost if you don't have the right influence over your team? Would it, like, if you don't have the influence over your team, you wouldn't get them to do what you want them to do, and then you will get blamed for not delivering the result. We all know that. I've worked in corporates as a vice president for business development for a long time, and I was always faced with excuses and reasons why we could not do, why we could not deliver. And this does not, what I'm going to say today, does not only apply for business development, it applies for every team, how to motivate them. Okay, so let's talk about influence a little bit. Now, being a powerful influencer is critical to get the results you want in life, whether you're a coach, like the people who have presented earlier, whether you want to influence your clients, whether you want to influence your family, whether you want to influence your team, it's all goes in the same way. Now, lack of influence goes like this. At work, someone walks into your office, or you walk into someone's office and you say, your numbers have been down 3 months in a row. You have to get them up, or else I do not guarantee for you what will happen in the future. How would that person come in the next morning? Definitely he will not be motivated. He will try to find excuses and reasons why he did not achieve or why he did not perform. Now, how motivation looks like, or how influence looks like, you walk into someone's office, or someone walks into your office and say, your numbers have been down for 3 months in a row. Now, assuming you have the right team, your numbers have been low for 3 months in a row. Are you okay? So here happens a shift. That person will also pay attention that he was doing really well. So you're putting his ideal self, or his original version, as being really efficient and effective. And it's only these 3 months where he might have some personal problem, or might have been going through some mental health difficulties, whatever it is. So now, okay, let's think about, or imagine the person you're talking for is in his own world, and in his own needs and his own wants, is in a bubble. And you on the other side, in another bubble, having your own wants and needs. Now, the first example that I talked about, which is the lack of influence, which is what we usually do. We talk to people from our own side. We want to relieve our worries. We tell them that, okay, so I am fearful about the future. If you don't perform, I will be blamed, right? In another, that's the message that reached them. And if you do not perform because you're really a bad person for doing that for 3 months, then we will not be able to reach that, and you will be expelled, or you will go outside. Exactly, emotional health is very, very important. So think about these bubbles again. Now, with anyone you want to influence, there are 2 bubbles. You talk to them, either you talk to them from your own side, from your own needs and own wants, and you think that something is important, so you talk to them from that perspective, or you find common grounds where your needs intersect. So, as an example, everyone needs to feel in control, right? So that is a little bit counterintuitive. Like when we are talking about leaders, we're talking about someone, or we have in our minds that leaders have the control. But when you give control to the person in front of you, and they feel that they have a say, or they have control over their own actions, their own consequences, their own results, your influence level gets higher. So control, you need to challenge them. Now, what I don't like to do in a presentation is to tell you how to do it. But since the time is very, very short, we will not have interactive exercises. Yeah. So, sorry, someone is talking? Okay. So give them control, challenge them. Exactly. They need to feel and own and be responsible. Then you need to challenge them. Everyone likes challenge, right? So take this challenge for another quarter. I want you to give me a plan. Once you say that, then you are engaging them to contribute. They're not only receiving from you, they are moving their own brain and engaging their own thoughts to do something that will change the situation. And you will divert their attention and their thinking from looking for trouble or threats or companies that does not do well to companies that actually do well. And now I know what you might be thinking now. In COVID times, yeah, everyone is not doing well, everyone is not achieving, etc. But you know what? I guarantee you that there is at least one company that is doing really well in the time of COVID. And what's the difference? That they know how to influence their teams. So when you're talking to someone, you now also with the lack of extrinsic motivators, which is like money, raise, all these that we used to provide them before, but we cannot provide them now, right? Because revenues are down. So you need to engage them from the inside with their intrinsic drivers. They need to feel that they are connected to you, that you care for them, that you are there for them whenever they need you. They need to feel in control. They need to be challenged. They need to feel that they are a positive person and something wrong has been going on for 3 months, but it can be fixed. And you need to divert their attention to thinking or looking for opportunities and not only threats. So, and last thing, I want to share with you a very nice quote by Zig Ziglar. You will get all what you want in life only if you help enough people get what they want. Think about that for a moment.
Thank you very much, Reem.
Thank you, Radu.
It was a great review. I think it's becoming a thread line through all topics in looking for solutions and working with the teams rather than for the teams or leading the teams. I think leadership is becoming more involved, getting more involved, being more empathic, understanding, and finding ways to empower the people that might have solutions and let them speak and come up, because they might know even better than someone from the outside.
Exactly. One more thing I want to add, now reflecting on what Ahlam said earlier, that she was neutral and she heard what the team was saying. That's being present. We're not regretting the past or worrying about the future. We are being present. We are in our full influence and we're in our full empowered state. And we are looking for the other person. What are they thinking? What are they feeling? What are they going through? And then we will be the most influential and we will empower them and empower ourselves also.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And I think this is the key to make the perfect transition to our lean expert, DJ Duarte, who's here with us, because I think the motivation is it's an important part, but then you also need to know what the process and what to actually do. And I think lean thinking and lean designing and dealing with processes in the companies nowadays is becoming even more relevant when we need to reduce waste and cut costs. So how do we do that, DJ?
That's a great segue there, Radu. I appreciate it. Hey, listen, all the talks that I heard today are wonderful. So thank you very much for sharing those insights. I'm taking bits and pieces of wisdom or pearls of wisdom, if I may, and capturing them in my notes here. So thank you very much for that. And I hope that my 9-minute talk today will also provide a little bit of that kind of wisdom. Let me go ahead and start my clock here so I make sure I don't go over, yeah? As a good lean guy would do, yeah? Because it's all about time. So first of all, just want to let you know who I am. My name is DJ Duarte. I'm living here in Japan for more than 32 years. I've been a lean consultant for more than 30 years. And when I say lean, I don't mean lean in the sense of the Western world's lean. I mean in the sense of the Toyota production system and Toyota management system. I was honored to be a part of this superheroes engagement that Varun, who I've been working with now for about 2.5 years, and Radu invited me to. So let me just get into why me and what my theme is truly about. So I think first a little bit about me is as I've worked in this industry, and I've worked with 17 of the most profitable industries in the world across 40 different countries in the world. I know it works. I know it's applied if it's applied correctly. And if you can get, as the previous speaker Reem was talking about, get buy-in from the team members, understand them and where their emotional intelligence is at, and then also get the leaders to actually look at their business with truly open eyes. So enough about me. what I would say is my agenda for you today is simply this. I want to talk about from COVID-19, what has transpired, and then how do you rebound from it? How do you rebuild from it? And then how do you reimagine your business from it by applying some of the simple principles and practices of the Toyota production system. And I have a framework that I work within. It's called a thinking people system. So that's my mental model. How do we get people to think about their business? So first, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the challenges we're facing. I think the first thing that I would say about the challenges is that we have to look at those challenges as if they are opportunities. Yeah. And so we need to focus out in order to focus back in on overcoming those challenges. And I think that's a very important piece. The second, I'd like to leave you here today with a 3-step formula that can build that resilience in your business, or as I might call it, bulletproof your business, okay? And third, how do you get some of these natural outcomes in the next 30, 60 days, okay? So I talk a lot with a lot of senior leaders around the world. I engage some of the biggest brands, Philips, Continental Tires, PACCAR, Peterbilt, Givaudan with all the perfumes for the ladies, right? And all of them have the same kind of challenges. They can't see into their business. They can't make the right decisions because they have archaic systems. So when we start talking about the challenges that they're facing, I'm really talking about the VUCA, you know, the volatility, the uncertainty, right? The complexity, the ambiguity that we have out there. But this could be in customer behaviors. This could be in, you know, supply chain issues. This could be in the way your market is working. This could be in some of the digital solutions that you've decided to acquire. But I think most of it resides in people. And that's what we sort of miss. We're talking about talent. We're talking about the people that keep your business creating the value for others. Technology doesn't do that. It just supports it. And so I want to share some ways that we can reemerge to do those rebound, rebuild, and reimagine your business, okay? So first, the safe assumption are those challenges, yeah? Secondly, what I'd like to talk to you about is specifically when we rebound, what do we really mean by that? I think when we rebound, we have to really say to ourselves, what do we have to stop doing? Most businesses are just so overwhelmed with the way they're organized. In fact, if you really think about it from a lens of lean, 30% of the business is creating value and 70% of it is usually supporting that. So think of operations and then all the transactional stuff that happens in the background. So if we can sort of tweak that and make it 50-50, 60-40, we're winning already then, okay? So if we have some of these laser focused kind of objectives moving forward, that creates resilience. But I think we also need to get everybody aligned. And that's sort of, how do you get mid-level, shop floor, and executives to align? Lean helps do that. It helps them through communication. It helps through visualization of what's really important. And in that, people then tend to say, okay, this is what I need to do to move forward. I think the other thing that we need to do is have an integrated approach. We can't be looking at things in isolation or functionality. We have to look at it as a system that is integrated to provide the resources, to provide the services or the products to the marketplaces. And if we do that, and we don't look at it in silos, we have more resilience as well. I think beyond that, we got to think about how do we scale our business in small ways. It doesn't have to scale in large ways. You don't have to 10x your business, but maybe it's 2x your business. And I share this with you because I think one of the speakers earlier was talking about those that during COVID have actually transitioned quickly are probably those that are going to be more successful. I have to tell you, I'm going through the roof. I've got 12 people I'm coaching globally now. And before COVID, I only had one. I'm having, 15 different companies I'm engaging virtually now, vice going to 15 different companies. So my wallet gets thicker. Simple as that. And lastly, I think that we need to really, instead of just scaling what we're doing or adapting our processes, we need to really think about that talent we have. Who on our team and what are they good at and what can they help other people get good at? Okay, and I really want to harp on that a little bit more here as I continue forward. I've got about 2.5 minutes left. And so The first thing that I'd like to tell you, the steps that for the 30 to 60 days moving forward, you need to have a strategic imperative for your optimization initiative. You just got to say, I want to increase sales by 30%, or I want to reduce cost by 25%, whatever it might be. Focus all your optimization efforts on driving that strategic imperative. And what that will do is it'll help you start to gain insights about your business so that you can reimagine it. And that's that third piece that I was really sharing about, right? That third piece of rebound, rebuild, and reimagine. The digital piece, don't select all the digital solutions that are out there, the IoT solutions that are underneath that big umbrella of Industry 4.0. Pick that one or two things that's going to elevate your business. Zoom has done that for some businesses, while others have gone into some AI kind of concepts or data mining kind of concepts to allow them to dig deeper into the market. The point is, just select one of them. You don't need a myriad of them. Yeah. And last but not least, developing of those people. I think when you develop the people, you have to have a core learning, a core competency, a core understanding of your business, and get everybody attuned to that. Then select those few ambassadors to take you to the next level so that you can actually help any kind of business evolve. And that leads me to today's one slide presentation of closing here. And so I will share my screen real quick. Boom. Boom, and where am I at here? There we go. How do we do this? How do we do this as a business? First of all, you got to get the executives buy-in, and the only way you're going to do that is cost reduction, cost avoidance, or revenue. If you're not talking on that level, they're not going to listen to you. They won't. I don't care if you're a small business, SME, or if you're a Fortune 500 business, okay? You got to create that sense of urgency. Why change? Why rebuild? Why rebound? Why reimagine? And then, of course, you got to be insistent, persistent, and consistent about that. The second thing is, you got to make it real. Make it simple, to the point, get people involved with the intent to influence for better, right? And last but not least, incentivize that. If you save 10%, give 1% back to them. Motivate them to go do the things. And when I was working with Axiom Telecom, that's exactly what they did. They went from a $22 million company to an $85 million company. And that they in turn returned back to the employees. Last but not least, I'm honest about this. You really need to build capability. You got to work with true experts with real experience, not some of these people that read the book, went to the university, and have never implemented it all. They just give you training classes. When you talk the thinking people system and you talk Toyota production system and lean manufacturing, go with the people that have actually done it with their hands. They've done it hundreds of times with their hands. That's very important. Build your core group of ambassadors. And last but not least, leave no space unturned. Everybody from the C-suite all the way down to the shop floor should be engaged with this. And you just got to get the right engagement with the right interaction of the people. So I've got a slide deck that I'm going to turn over to Radu, but that's pretty much what I wanted to share today. I would welcome any kind of insights, any kind of questions, and a one-on-one conversation. And Radu and Varun, arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, DJ, for your presentation and for bringing value and being part of our conference. We will be sharing all the recordings and all the supporting materials from our speakers with the contact details and the possibility to reach out to them after the conference is done. So everything is sorted in that respect. One more speaker for today, because we need another solution to meet the target of 9 solutions. And I'm very happy to have here with us Dinup, who is the developer of the first gamified disc assessment, to tell us about how you can actually select the world's first. Okay, so did I say it right, Dinup?
Yeah, you got it right. Yeah.
Telling us about how to choose the right people, or how to find, as Ahlam was saying earlier, discover exactly in a certain person what they need to stop doing and what they need to start doing, and how do we develop that. So welcome, Dinup.
Thank you so much, Radu. Thank you so much. So I'm taking off from where Varun talked about and a few other speakers talked about as well. We actually thought 2020 is going to be the takeoff here, okay? And we're probably taking off from the Mariana Trench. We've come up to the sea level. We're going to go up further. Eventually, we will make it. So there's no problem there. But therefore, brought in itself a lot of new challenges. And what I'm going to try and do is share some of the very interesting challenges which we started seeing. And let me know once you can see the screen. Visible? Yeah. Great. Okay. The first, now that we are in new normal, what we're going to see is a BC and an AC, before COVID and after COVID. It's just two time frames. It's like two different eras. Before COVID, what used to happen, and I have to explain the new normal now, is you had a job, you had two people applying. After COVID, you multiply that by 3 to 4, 5 times. So it's about 8 to 10 people applying for it. Now, the question normally that comes out is who's hiring? But there are organizations hiring. There are companies, for example, FMCG or fast moving consumer goods firms, they're still hiring. Why? Because those are essential goods. Those are still going through the roof. Their hiring now has become more difficult. We're like, why would it be more difficult? Because now the HR is under tremendous stress. They have a huge volume of aspiring candidates and you can't screen them. You simply can't screen them anymore. And and you can't meet so many people. You want to maintain your social distance. So here's the new normal now. You had 2 people for a job applying. Probably you'll have 6 to 10 people coming in, AC, BC and AC. So that's one issue that started coming. I mean, who would have even thought you'll have a problem of plenty, but this plenty, you don't want to meet face to face. So that's a new challenge. The second, hey, you have people on board. Now I'm bored at home. Work from home is now starting to kill me. Someone talk to me. I'm tired of looking at the screen. That's how it used to be before. The coaching could have been face to face, but the coaching is now online. I see you, you see me, we talk. And I know the challenge. I'm doing a few sessions this week and the next. And connectivity, the guy says, hey, I can't connect to this. I was like, okay, give me your number. Let me speak to you. But the new challenge now is I don't get to see body language. I don't get to see a lot of the other elements of my coaching session. So what I used to do face to face now goes online. And my biggest problem, I don't have a diagnostic tool that can actually help me over there. How do I know what's actually happening with this individual? It's like, say now the doctors have gone online. Now, when you meet a doctor, they used to write a list of tests. Hey, it looks like you got fever, so I'm going to give you a blood test, a chest x-ray, so on and so forth. Great. And now the doctors are so dependent on those tests because they're not even seeing you. They're seeing you over the screen. So the test comes, they see the results and like, okay, this is your issue. Here's your prescription. And again, see us about a week later. So in the new normal, diagnosis is more important than actually the prescription because that is gone to an online setup. And the third, even more difficult, team management has changed. So imagine 8 of us or 10 of us working together, same space, no problem. I know, let's say, oh, Radu's the risk-taking guy, give him the segue, he is not going to fall. Varun's probably the analyst, give him the Excel sheet, he'll give me the numbers. But now I have my team sitting virtually in different parts of the world. I can't get to meet these people. I can't get to see what they're actually good at. I can't get to see what their concern points are, development points are. It's like I'm trying to create a football team. I have 11 players in 11 different parts of the world, but I don't know who's my goal scorer. I don't know who's my goalkeeper. I don't know who's my midfielder. So the new normal has actually created a lot of new challenges from an HR perspective. What's the issue for the people at hand? There is absolutely a huge drop in people-to-people interaction. Yeah, so the whole objective, go to office, you get to interact, you meet people, you socialize, you learn from the best of everyone else. Now you don't get that. The engagement levels are dropping. The motivation levels, as Reem was talking about, it keeps dropping. And as we just heard a little earlier, we try more of the same. But now we need to actually do something different. And that's when we decided to push through the gamified experience. Now, why does gamification work? Because it engages the user. It's an important element. I'm looking at a screen, I'm looking at a presentation, and I'm not going to get active and motivated to do anything unless it's an engaging experience. So for the people who go through this is the time that they want to be engaged. They also want to get rewarded. Now, how do I reward them? Hey, you achieve certain milestones in this game, and you get some sort of a reward. Earlier, you used to have the employee of the month. Probably now it's going to be the virtual employee of the month. Now, how do you identify that? It's a huge challenge. I remember going to these McDonald's stores, and they used to have these employee of the month posters. I'm sure it's there in most organizations, but is that still happening now? So the sense of achievement is actually lost. Even if I get a certificate, who do I show it to? So a gamification actually gives me a sense of achievement. It gives me a sense of motivation. Hey, I've done something other than just wake up in the morning and look in front of the computer all over again. So it's a real funny situation we had about 2 days back. I was talking at home. I said, I can't remember the last time I wore my formal office shoes. I can't even remember wearing it because it's been such a long time. I mean, I don't need to go anywhere. I'm meeting everybody virtually. So for me, even those elements of office have gone right out of the window. So motivation becomes an issue. What am I doing? Am I fit for my work from home? Not everybody is fit for work from home. The organizations who say, look, you want to come? Welcome on board, come on board. But do you know who are the kind of people who can actually work from home? There are some who are superb at that because, well, they prefer working by themselves. But there are others who are like social animals. They need to be in the office. So you need to be able to identify those set of people. And, that's how we end up going about doing it. And of course, giving them some sort of a challenge, hey, win the game, get some points, feel alive all over again. The best part, you don't need to wear a mask to play this game. So you end up having a completely different experience. Now we do all of this. And then of course people say, oh, but we don't have the budgets for it. Like, of course you don't have the budgets for it. Human resources is the first thing you chop off when you actually have budget issues, right? So we decided, let's do something better. COVID-19 is an extraordinary situation. We've never seen it. I think it's the first time in almost 100 years. We'll probably be telling our children and grandchildren about it. And extraordinary situations call for extraordinary solutions. So what I've been doing along with our partner firms is we've been offering our license absolutely complimentary to the firms who really want to go ahead and work with the employees. Absolutely free till the end of the year. The only condition we say is do use it. Don't just take it up because it's complimentary. Go ahead and use it. We understand you may have had some budgeting issues. We understand you may have had some concerns in getting this out into the market. So we kind of help them and support them. And we've had very good experience from Middle East, from Thailand, from South Africa, even in Japan, DJ. So even there, we've got some very good, interesting responses as well. So the whole element of getting people to understand that let's try something new, change is happening. Let's try something new is actually gaining traction. And like Varun said, in terms of the superheroes concept, once they start understanding that we are there with them through these tough times, they will remember us when the times go well. And that's the concluding part of my discussion then. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dinub. I'm taking this as an offer and opportunity. So for anyone who is taking part in this conference, you can get a free license until the end of the year for your company for the first gamifying disc assessment. And you're going to get all the details in the follow-up email that is going for that. Thank you very much for that, Dinub.
You're welcome.
Know your people. I think that's becoming more and more important. It's a super relevant subject for these days. And with this, we conclude our 9 solutions. I'm considering the 9th solution as being exactly the talks, the executive mastery talks, which I'm going to tell you now that this was the first edition, and I'm planning to run it every month on the 9th with 9 speakers that get 9 minutes. Again, from very diverse fields, because I think there's a lot of people that need support, that need ideas. And this it's a way of giving something back in a familiar and comfortable environment. because we're all like a big happy family here, and I'm keeping it like that. And for that, for this edition, I'm going to say thank you very much first for the team who managed to make this dream a reality in under 10 days. Everybody said it's impossible to get 50 participants in 10 days for a conference. No one does that. We have 100. And also, I would like to thank all the speakers for their flexibility, their fast answers, and organizing it and taking part and supporting it in providing value. And I started today by asking you, where is your focus? Because maybe it's time to refocus. Me personally, a lesson for myself was that I said 2020 will be a year like never before. And unfortunately, although I say it a lot of times, I didn't demonstrate the always be specific when you set an outcome, you know? The universe listened. It gave me a year like never before. So I'm not gonna end by saying where is your focus, but decide what your focus is and make it specific to give you the direction and the motivation to move forward. That's the very important thing. And then you'll find the solutions. This was, it was great to have you here. My name is Radu Seuche, and this was the first edition of Executive Mastery Talks. I'm looking forward to seeing you all again a month from now on the 9th of November for the second edition. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Radu.
Nice.
Bye-bye.